Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the MSU Livestream podcast. Me and Dal are joined by American youngster Scott Meshey, who is up and coming in the Supercross, and we had a little chat off air, and he can't wait for the outdoors to start. So, welcome to the show, Scott.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, very well. Thanks for taking the time out. I know you're obviously a busy man, and I know you're not riding this week, but you got work tonight, and
Oh yeah, no, it's never ending, man. Between master's program and part-time work and training and racing, I definitely stay busy, but always glad to be able to do cool stuff like this with great guys like yourselves.
yeah. What do you do for work and part time? Then what are you? What's your?
So I'm actually a tutor for a college down here in Florida. So I specialize in like math, English, writing, kind of any like general stuff, and then anything with business. I'm actually a business major and pursuing my master's.
Yeah, because I've been trying to do a bit of background on you, but there's not a lot on the internet about you. And I found out you're quite an educated guy. So we were going to ask what sort of qualifications you're going through at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have a bachelor's in supervision and management. And then right now I'm pursuing my master's in business administration with a concentration in sports business.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. I mean, my truthfully, my mom has been the big drive behind that. Is she's always told me that you need to have something for after racing. It doesn't matter how great you do at racing, or how far you take it. You need to have something, for later in life. And I think that that's important. And I'm someone who feels the need to be the very best that I can be. So that's kind of school is just another avenue for once racing is done, be able to really try to make an impact in the world and in the industry as best as I can.
Yeah, but you
How
can
long?
use them. Go on, Dan. Go on.
How long do you are you looking at? Obviously, trying to push the like racing career. When will there be? Will there be a kind of time you'll just kind of cut it and then focus on the business, or are you always going to try and just keep riding?
Honestly, so I'll ride for as long as my body allows me, of course. And I think that truthfully, I don't know that I'll ever be able to fully get away from racing ever.
Nah, it's in
I
the blood.
Oh yeah, no, I love it too much. I really believe that, I'll still, even after, if I, whenever that is, I mean, truthfully, I want to be able to continue to grow in the pro ranks. I mean, I really just started, obviously Supercross this year, and then I really made an effort in pro motocross last year. And, I have a bit of climbing to do and I'm doing a lot of climbing and making a lot of progress. So, I'll keep doing it until it's, and just until the time's right. I want to keep representing those that help me and be able to give back as much as I can, and showing my talent as much as I can. But there's really no set date or anything like that for when I'm giving myself till or anything like that. But I think I'll always still want to like race once in a while, even afterwards. I'll still be like, you know what? I'll still do like a pro national,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
they do good vet nationals in America as well, don't they?
They do.
So, but can you use your business management in your privateer life to try and generate money to race now? Have you sort of taken that business mindset into how you generate money now to get about, obviously, for the season?
I absolutely 100%. There's actually quite a few, business, mindsets, and kind of tactics and like different stuff, like even like accounting and stuff like that, to be able to really help manage it. Obviously, since I've turned 18, my mom, who's really been the strongest support behind me, kind of handed me the reins a little bit, to kind of make things kind of happen as far as managing it and making sure that I'm following through on obligations and so forth. Um, and so for me, the business, aspect of it has really helped with trying to bring value to those that help me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's the biggest thing that I find is just me being myself. I want to give back as much as I possibly can to the people that help me. It's not a one-way street. I'm not asking for product from companies. just for the sake of getting free product, and that's that. That's not how I operate, and I realize in a business aspect that that's not. It's just not right. You just
No.
shouldn't be doing that. Whatever you can do as a racer to give back and help grow, relationships, partnerships, helping the company grow, helping yourself grow. That's a big thing. And then obviously, just like accounting, I guess would work. Just trying to understand exactly what, hard costs there are.
Yeah. How do you balance the books when everything's just always going out? Fuel, entry fees,
I'm already spent before it ever comes in.
Yeah, so you're already in a minus before you've even started.
Yep, absolutely. So trying to manage all that and be able to I guess, put everything in place and manage it well is the biggest thing.
Yeah, because we off air we was talking about the pro season. What does that have in your own head? What's that roughly cost the privateer?
And I have the numbers written down in my phone. But it depends on realistically how much you really want to race. I mean, if you're doing a full 450 effort, I mean it gets very expensive very fast. I mean, I think that you're looking at I think that what I was looking at just for hard costs, that's entrance fees, that's extra bands, like for mechanic, and I mean, I didn't realize the COVID testing costs that were going to be associated with Supercross this year.
Yeah,
That was a big expense I wasn't really prepared for. But I believe that the last time I was looking, it was between about 15 to 20 grand, and that's hard costs. That's costs that are known. That's not gas, that's not hotels, Airbnbs. That's accounting in. What I know that I've used for race fuel last year and just pro motocross, not including Supercross, and plus, being in Supercross, racing 250, you're probably training on a mod 250. And so you're using race gas and, taking that into consideration. So it definitely adds up very, very, very fast.
Yeah, I can imagine. So obviously, yeah, doing it on your own obviously must be tough. So is your aim to try and get more help from a team? Would you love to be in a team, or what is your aim for the Supercross is coming to an end now and going into pro motocross, where obviously you just come off the last round of won the hard charging privateer award, which was awesome. So is your aim now to get spotted by a team to relieve a bit of that pressure off yourself?
Honestly, I think that there is a lot of hype around getting on a team. I truly, in my own experience, I've been on teams in amateur, and I've delved a little bit into, the pro side as well. And, the fit has to be right. That's the biggest thing, is people just rush into it because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting help. Yeah. But hopefully, and obviously it's not shown, because obviously as racers, we hold a professional image, and obviously we, have to make sure that we stay professional, but in the backstage of things, it's not always pretty, and it's not always it's not always what it is projected to
perceived to be. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously, it's not because necessarily the teams aren't running things correctly, or because the people that are running it aren't great, and that they don't have a great program. It just might not be a good fit, and that's the biggest thing. Truthfully, I have the pleasure to work with the guys at JMC Husky. I've known those guys. This would be probably about my third year that I've, kind of been in talks with those guys. And this year they really helped me out quite a bit, with getting some bikes and getting a race motor, and, just kind of helping me with some odds and ends kind of stuff. Being more of a supported rider, not necessarily a team rider. One thing that I like personally about being a privateer is I get to choose who I work with. And I have very, very strong relationships with the people that I work with now. And that's important to me. And, it would take definitely the right fit in order to
give that up, sort of thing. Yeah. Or just say to them, like, yeah, because you wouldn't want to leave and then come crawling back 6 months later, really, would you?
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's what, the important thing is if you have those really solid relationships, those people that do support you, before you go on to a team are happy for you, and they want to see you do it, want to see you get to that spot. And then when you do, then they congratulate you. And if, I've had that happen where, I've gone on to a team and I've established a strong relationship with them. And then when that was over, I went back to them. I said, hey, let's go back to this. Can we go back to, working together? And the answer, is always yes, because that's the biggest thing for me is creating relationships.
I think it's pretty cool though, Scott, because I've been watching your YouTube channel and stuff, and obviously see everything that goes into it and who's at the practice tracks with you. And I think sometimes we respect you so much because of we see these pro riders that turn up and have everything kind of given to them as much as they're talented. But we see the one I watched the other day where you was practicing, you had two big get offs practicing in that, and I was like, it just shows how committed you privateers are because of all the traveling, the work you've done on the bikes. And there was one episode where you was changing shocks and stuff at the round, and you're so committed just to go out there and try and make the main, and it's just crazy. And I think we respect the privateers so much more than the pro riders. It's just kind of mad how much till people start doing these vlogs that you're all doing, we don't really see how much effort you lot kind of put in just to get to the races.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And I know that it's a very different world for privateers. I truthfully, being here in Florida, I get to be around a lot of top teams, and I have the pleasure of being out at Moto Sandbox. I have the support behind me to be able to have access to that facility. And obviously I get to watch Kenny do his thing, and I get to train with Alex Martin, who's a really good guy, and Chisholm, who kind of has his own program, and Ronnie Stewart, who has his own program. And then I've been obviously able to be around the Baker guys, through riding at private tracks and people that I have contacts with. And it's such a different world, man. I mean, I really truly believe that privateers and guys on factory teams live two very different lives. And that's the thing is, I feel like obviously, I have mad respect for the top guys, and obviously they wouldn't be where they are, and they wouldn't be able to have the type of, I mean, I guess at that point it really is a job. I mean, you show up and you do your job, everything is set up for you. Versus, privateers. I mean, we have to do it all. I mean, we all of if you're like me, I do all the bike work unless something happens with a motor, and then I take it to somebody who I trust. I do all that. I wash the bikes, if my van breaks, I have to make sure that I take care of that. I have to, work with my mom to, make sure that we get the Airbnbs figured out, or the hotels, and, the traveling, and, making sure that I get, for me, get my assignments done, just do it's doing it all. And, like you said, I mean, at Indy 2, just, swapping out shock after shock, and truthfully, that was such a weird thing. Obviously, I don't think that's, really anybody's fault. It was just something. It can happen in Supercross. I mean, heck, I've broken a titanium foot peg in Supercross. So, it's, if something can break, it's going to happen in Supercross. That's really, but, obviously all the work that we put in, whether it's bike work, training, everything that goes on behind the scenes, we are just that driven, I believe, to get into a place where it's just easier, where we can make it easier on ourselves and achieve goals. I mean, like yesterday, I literally overjumped.
We see that.
And busted my lip open, and my mom's like, "Are you done for the day?" And I'm like, "No, like I'm not done. I go back out. I'm spitting out blood. It's no big deal, and my teeth are a little messed up now, but it's like whatever, man. Like it might be a little bit boneheaded, but at the same time, it's not impeding my riding. So I have work to do. So still got to keep going, keep getting the work done.
Because you
I
got
like
to
the
push
little.
yourself.
I like.
Oh,
Oh,
Dan.
sorry, Bob. No,
No,
I
go
like
on.
the little scream. The other on the episode I watched the other day. I like the little scream where you come up short on one of the jumps.
You know, honestly, dude, that's definitely organic stuff right there. And I totally forgot in that moment that I had the GoPro on, and so when because my buddy Sater, Clutch Media, who does does the editing and stuff like that, great dude. When we're doing the stuff, a lot of times he'll have like the camera like pointed at me, but I won't realize that he even has it there. So when you hear me talking and stuff, it's very organic, very genuine. Yeah, no, at that moment I totally forgot I had the GoPro on and totally screamed like a girl, but it happens, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's real stuff. No, at that moment I knew that I was pretty not looking good.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Where did riding start with you? Is it a family sport, or most of the time your dad or your uncle rides and then it passes it down? Is that pretty similar story for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad actually used to ride in the woods, and then my mom and dad went to actually some of the pro nationals. I actually have some of the programs from Unadilla National back in the '80s, and that's where the love for motocross kind of grew. And then I'm 5 years older, or I'm sorry, 5 years younger than my older brother, and I have two older brothers and a sister. And so they were, taken to pro nationals, and then, my brothers started to ride. And then by the time I was born, my two brothers were riding. So I just kind of went
Yeah.
right to it, but I definitely took it a step further. That's for sure.
Yeah. Did you manage to do Loretta Lynn's and stuff as a youngster, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Truthfully, Loretta Lynn's was never really my place for, to shine. I don't know really what it is about that place, but it does not love me.
Oh.
I did have a good year where I went 5.31 for third overall in the college boy class, and I did it on a 250 against the 450s. I know it's not a prestigious class like an A class or pro sport or even the 250B class, but that was that once, and I don't even know how many times I went there, truthfully, probably about 10, 11, 12 times.
Yeah.
And I've had good showings there, but most of the time, I mean, I've had bikes quit on me. I've wadded my brains out a few times there. I've gotten at least 2 concussions there. It's not my place, but I've done Loretta's. I've never done Monster Cup, but I did like the Minios races at
Yeah.
back. That's more one of my favorites.
Yeah, I would love to go and watch Loretta's one year because does it last all week, or is it
Yeah,
4 or 5 days?
yeah, it's all week. I think I think if I remember correctly, sign in is Sunday, your practice is Monday, and then they start racing on Tuesday, and it doesn't end until Saturday.
Yeah, so
But it is. I'll tell you what, it's really cool. I mean, it's a very cool environment, as a spectator and stuff like that. As a racer, if you're racing, 2 classes, it's a busy week, and it is a very trying week. I mean, it's one thing for, like on the pro side, obviously we have, tech day one day, and then, here over in America, it's different than like, MXGP or anything like that, where, you have one day of qualifying and then the next day you do racing. Obviously here we do qualifying and racing in one day. So you got to get together for one day. And you got to make it all happen in one day versus, at Loretta's, you've got to be able to keep your cool every single day for 5-6 days. So it's very, very different. You have to keep a good mindset. You have to keep yourself in check.
So bringing it back to nowadays, qualifying for your first main event must have been a great feeling. You see you come over that line, and you just must have been, because obviously it's worth money to you as well to do that. So it's not just a personal achievement; it's like a financial help, and it just gets you on the main stage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And especially, what's interesting is when I first went into Supercross, Truthfully, um, before I started training at Moto Sandbox in December 7th. Before then, I've put maybe a total of 1 month, truly 1 month of Supercross training in before that ever.
Yeah.
So I would definitely consider myself a green bean in the
Yeah.
Supercross world. And I know that I have some moments where it shows, and I'll be honest. But going into it, I thought to myself, okay, I want to make night shows, but my goal by the end of the season is to make a main event.
Yeah.
And the first round, I rode timid, and I wasn't being aggressive enough, and it cost me the spot. And
Yeah.
at that moment, and I didn't realize that my shock was broken that time. I mean, I just was just riding it as it was, because that's just the type of person I am, is just don't make excuses, just make it happen. And at that moment where I'm like, wow, like I'm literally right there. I'm right at my goal. I'm so close. To have that happen, and then the second round, for Hunter and I to get together like that,
Yeah.
it was just gutting, man. And then that finally, that third time, the third time was the charm. Really kept it together, and had it all come together. And oh my gosh, man, that was so.
Oh, yeah, you rode really well. We always say we'd love to mic up, and like Carmichael says, how good to mic up the last chance
Yeah,
qualifier in the 250s, because it'd be.
yeah. Oh
Yes.
gosh, I'll tell you, I mean, really making it over the finish line, and knowing that I really put myself in the spot was, man, if it would have been a quiet stadium, you would have heard me yelling and screaming. I was so happy. I really was like, oh my gosh, like I really did it.
Yeah.
That you
Because
dream of as a kid watching Supercross.
since we've started watching like the Supercross, we've kind of you always kind of skip to the mains a little bit and the heats, but we've kind of, where we've been speaking to like quite a few privateers and that, we've like fell in love with, like, even
Yeah.
though you don't like being in like the last chance qualifiers, we glued to that race, because there's every race that we've watched, there's always something going on. And I was going to ask, like, is it as hectic as it looked for us, like when we're watching like out there on the track? Is it just kind of as carnage as it looks for us?
Oh, dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you. The views are wild. Everybody is out for blood in those LCQs. And a lot of times it's riders just kind of lose their heads a little bit, I feel like, in the LCQ, because you really truly know this is your last chance. You don't get another chance at the night, and the big picture kind of goes out the window, and right then that's your moment. Especially if you're in seventh, sixth, fifth, and you're gunning for those spots. You really just don't see anything other than what's right in front of you. And I think that we all would agree that, truthfully, most of us will do just about anything
Yeah.
to get into it. And it's I mean, for me, money aside, man, I don't care about that end of things. I mean, it's definitely useful, but it's more about the personal accomplishment, and just the racer aspect of it, of that's what you're there to do, man. You're there to make the main event. You're there to place in the main event. So it's in those LCQs, I mean, truthfully, that's really how I would sum it up in one sentence. Everyone's out for blood.
That should be your tagline on one of your privateer paths.
Yeah,
Everyone's out for blood.
it'd be nice to not have to do one of them, because they're just, man, they're so high stress.
Yeah, imagine what your heart rate's like at that. I bet you're like 180, 190s easy, aren't you?
Oh, easily. Listen, somebody that has asthma, like being in that tense of a environment, like really exacerbates those kinds of problems. So trying to keep calm and keep focused and making sure that you're hitting your marks is a very, very tough battle, for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you feel it? When you line up for your qualifying and you're next to these pro guys, do you feel intimidated, or are you sort of person that it's just a bike, it's just a man?
Okay, I will definitely say when I started racing pro motocross, and especially because I did a couple rounds in 2019, but when in 2020, when I went into 450, and I made it to the motos my first time. So the second round, I was in A practice, and I literally roll up and Tomac, Baggett, you know, on the list, and you're right around them, and you're like, whoa, like that's like a very surreal moment.
Yeah,
But
you've been a fan of them for so long, probably because you're still so young that
no, I mean, heck, I have some of these guys' jerseys, in my closet, like, from being a little kid, and, Bogle and Wilson and all those guys.
Yeah.
So, it's guys that you idolize, and then all of a sudden you're racing them. For when I went into Supercross, I think that I've had so much exposure to it in pro motocross that when I went into Supercross, it wasn't that bad. You still get that a little bit. Like when I'm, at like Orlando, Craig and I were lined up beside each other, and him and I were kind of chit chatting a little bit. And so, at first it was like, okay, like, holy smokes, like, it's Christian Craig. But, at the same time, like, I've raced with him before, in outdoors, I've raced with him. And, it was, once you get to the point of just kind of talking to the guys, I mean, it's really no big deal. I mean,
yeah, just men like yourself, aren't they? That's all they are, doing a job.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely don't have a problem talking to the guys. Like, and I enjoy kind of conversating with different people, and just just getting to know people. That's a thing that's, for me, is interesting. Just kind of getting to know everybody, and get to know people, for sure. But I would definitely say when I first did it, in outdoors last year, it was definitely like a wow.
I say, even for us, just chatting to, like, we've had Kevin Moran's on, and now yourself, it feels like we sort of know someone on the gate now, and it get, like you say, it just gives you that, I don't know, just, it feels like you're watching someone you know now, and you're like, yeah, Scott.
Dog in the fight. That's funny you say that, because I have quite a few people here in Florida, the different tracks that I ride at, and the great people that I get to be surrounded by, and it's so funny, because they're like, man, like, when you're actually close with one of the riders, and you get to really know them, and like one of the places I go and ride at, the Fields Farm compound, where I've posted GoPro before, and where I've had, I believe that it was in one of my my YouTube videos. Just kind of going there and interacting with the different families that are out there. It's a private place, and with the kids and all that. And, it's funny, because the parents are telling me that's like, we love watching Supercross to see you. But then when it switches to 450s or something, and it's like, okay, like, it's cool, but like, having that dog in the fights are really
Yeah, no, well, I really love it, like, speaking to you guys, and then watching you. Obviously, you're not doing this week, but you're back in next week, aren't you? In Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll be going into Atlanta in the 450 class. I actually have my 450 now, and I'm doing a bit of riding on that. I'm kind of switching off between motocross and supercross training, so that way I can get used to the 450 on supercross, but also outdoors is a focus for me. So trying to fit that in as well.
Are you staying 250 on outdoors, or going 450 next year?
450 for sure. Truthfully, it's very, very hard to do 250s in outdoors. For me, it's definitely not feasible as far as money is concerned. Just as far as what the realistic resources that you need. I mean, truthfully, I do things on a bit of a shoestring budget. I really do only what's necessary. But doing it in 250 is just not feasible for me. Especially if I wanted to do the entire season, which is my focus. I have national points in Supercross at this point. And I want to be able to get national points, in outdoors. Last year I was right there, in 21st, 22nd. So, this year for me, I realistically see myself getting points pretty consistently, especially with the resources I have now, especially training out at Moto Sandbox, which is really not something that I've had a lot before, as far as, a place to train. Last year I was at the Compound MX, which is another place near me, and the owner Bo really just kind of let me come out and ride, and so that helped me a ton.
Yeah.
And here I have quite a few places. Moto Sandbox for Supercross, the Compound MX for their Supercross track to be able to really get myself prepared. But 450 for sure. And truthfully, I love riding 450s, man. They're so much fun. They go so fast, so easily. It's such a good time.
We spoke with a local team owner with us, and he said his team went through, what was it, Dal, £15,000 worth of clutches in a season, and
yeah, just one season.
Are you heavy on the clutch, or are you quite? I've got to pay for this. I'm leaving it alone.
No, I've never been big on the clutch. I'll burn out a clutch more from doing starts and more from doing a lot of whoop practice. After my experiences at Indianapolis and Orlando, I have spent more time in the whoops probably than any other part of a Supercross track. So that's realistically where my clutches go, is just from starts. And I mean, you guys see on the races, I do get good starts, so I think that the start practice definitely pays off.
Yeah, one question we always get asked is, how long are the whoops? We none of us can work out how long are they. You're a mathematician. How in length? How long is a normal whoop section?
You know what? I forget the actual.
No.
I think that somebody told me that they are about, I apologize if I'm wrong, I believe feet apart from tip to tip. I believe that
12
apart. But that depends on how they build it and how long they make them, because a lot of times when they make them really, really long, sometimes they'll make them like slightly closer together. And sometimes they round them. Sometimes they're a lot more peaky. Like Orlando was very, very peaky. Those whoops were nasty.
Then the whoops looked nasty last night, actually, didn't they? Because they had no run up either, did they?
No, and that's a very interesting type of I guess problem to run into, is when you don't have a very long run up to them. It's watching Tomac come into it, and it didn't even look like the guy even struggled. Like he just cracked the throttle and skipped 2 into him and was just ready to go. But what's interesting is that the whoop section was really long, so trying to take like a tight line and jump through them, like you couldn't do it because they were so long and you lose so much time. So it's definitely interesting kind of seeing different ways that things are set up, or you could have like Daytona where they beat down to literally nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, and you were flying through them.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of the Webb Roxon? Do you reckon Webb's done enough now to break Roxon, or?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I have a ton of respect for Ken. Ken is personally, what would be my title favorite. Because I have like the amount of adversity that man's been through, and the fact that he still continues to be a top performer every single weekend is so respectable. I mean, just you can't help but not to just love the guy.
No, we all love him, but I just think Webb's just broke him a little bit lately.
Webb definitely, when Ricky says about Webb playing the mind games, he definitely does. What's cool is I actually got to train with the Baker guys one day, out at a private track, and the owner had them out, and Alden, said about just having me join in, because they were a guest at that facility, and so they said, hey, Alden said, yeah, just join in. And I was like, man, that's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is it's a hard pack track, and so it's that Fields Farm compound, and he has a YouTube channel that he's going to be starting called Rival MX Challenge, so he'll be putting stuff up like that. But anyway, so we were there, and Cooper goes, "Yeah, guys, if you want revenge on me, I'm not wearing a roost guard today." And I forget who it was that said, "Oh, I'll make sure that I roost you." And he literally looked at him with the most dead serious, like purely intimidating face, and was like, "I'm gonna catch you and I'm gonna pass you, and if you don't get out of my way, like." I was like, "Whoa!" Like, dude, I'm sorry, but if I hear that coming up behind me, I'm like, you're gonna get nervous.
Because he's
Did you
only
roost
little.
him?
We got to meet him, didn't we, Dal? And he's only little, isn't he?
Oh,
But he's got that massive aura about him of like fear.
once he's on the bike, yeah.
Dude, that guy he exudes confidence
Yeah.
and just exudes that, that sense of, hey, I'm here. Like, you have to respect him. And I definitely think that he demands respect, and I definitely think that he has that fear factor. Guys do fear him. I mean, he's an aggressive rider. I mean, but he gets the job done. Like, that's the thing is, and if I mean, like, I forget how many rounds ago it was where they put red plate on the pit board, and guess
Yeah,
what?
that was
we
all.
see that.
He goes and gets the red plate. Like, that's the thing is the guy will say stuff like that, but then he'll go and do it. And I don't know if it's because he's getting in the other person's head, or if it's in his own head that
Yeah.
like, I got you covered. It's a very, very interesting dynamic. So, and just seeing that in person and just watching him, put on that type of, watch out because I'm coming for you. Even at the practice level, I was like, bro, like, it's
Yeah.
just,
Whoa.
but he really means that. He's really, that's just his energy, man, is, he's there to win. And there's no,
Yeah. No one's gonna stop him from doing that.
there's no other way for him. He's going to win, period.
Yeah. Good. Are you all right for time? Have you got to go, or you all right for a minute? Just a few
No,
more questions.
no, absolutely, man. Ask away.
One of the questions I wanted to ask is why 441 is your number.
All right. So my original number was 141.
Right.
That's the number that I've had ever since I was on 50s. I mean, heck, this was from my first year of racing. I don't know if you can see it too well. Yep, 140. That's been a number for forever. It was actually a number that I got from a local pro when he that was his number. And when I went into pro ranks, somebody actually had the number 141, and so I was actually given the number 441 by the AMA, and it just kind of stuck. I really wanted to get 141, but it's kind of stuck, and I've had a lot of progress and a lot of good things happen with the number, so now I just kind of stick with it.
Yeah, everyone's a bit superstitious with their numbers in racing, aren't they?
Yeah, listen, man, I am truly at heart I will always be 141. Period.
Yeah.
It's the 441 has just kind of stuck with me though. What's funny is I actually had the number 441 before, when I was racing pro arena cross to get my pro supercross license, and I did not exactly have my best moments with that number. That's why when I got it for my first number with the AMA and pro motocross, I was like, oh man, like this sucks. This is bad,
Yeah, so we've got a couple of questions coming in. Reese has asked, training that gnarly in the week with other gnarly riders must help prepare for the races.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I truly believe that your environment shapes you. You are a product of your environment.
Yeah. The 5 people around you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I really do get a lot of really useful information from watching people. And I'm good buddies with Chisholm and Ronnie Stewart, and Alex Martin's a really good guy. I learn a lot from talking to those guys. Chisholm and Ronnie Stewart have both really seemed to be open to giving me information as a rookie that they now know as guys that have been in it for 9-10.
Did Kyle get in trouble for the transfer?
I don't know. I'll have to about it. I haven't. They're out in Arlington, but I don't know, man. I mean, he probably lost his fastest lap. If that was his fastest lap, he probably lost it. But I can't imagine, because you're way up in the air for too long. I can't imagine that would be the
Look
fastest
good
lap.
though, doesn't
It looks super cool.
I didn't know if the AMA would, give him a disciplinary for changing lanes, or whether it was he got in trouble or not.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of guys that are getting in trouble last night. between Hartraff going off the track, and
Yeah.
I didn't see if McAdoo got.
No, because he missed a lot because he saw Cooper coming, didn't he? So he just sort of skimmed up that. Yeah.
What's his name? They caught Anderson. They caught that guy in 4K skipping the whole whoop section.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, man! Like, you picked the wrong time to do that." But I'll be interested to see, because it's there's quite a few things that happened last night. But like I said, in time qualifying, if it's different if you like cut the track or something like that. But if he switched lanes, he probably just lost that lap time. That's all.
And look,
hey, don't do that.
I'll take that for how cool it looked. Again, Reese has asked, do you have any rivals, or are you get on well with most people?
I'm a peacekeeper. I get along with everybody. I did have a little bit of a kind of
beef,
slight, pushing match with Camporese at Indy 3, because in the heat race I took him off the track right before the finish line. I nailed him before the finish line, and he had to miss the finish line, and then he got docked because he cut the track, but like he was forced to, because I literally hard. And so, then he kind of paid it in the LCQ. And, I talked to him after that. I was like, hey, man, you know what? I get it. It's fair game. Rubbin's racing, and, I kind of started it. So, it is what it is. And
he's got quite a cool story in himself, hasn't he, of how he rides a Supercross.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but like I said, I get along with most people. What's funny is back in 2018, when I was doing arena cross to get my Supercross points, me and Moran's actually got together, and I think where was it? Not Greensboro, Florence, South Carolina, the arena cross race there. After the whoops, he had so much speed going through the whoops that he like hit me and like kind of took me high on the berm. But after the race, he's like, dude, like, I'm sorry, I had way too much speed. I wasn't ready. I wasn't anticipating, like, he's like, I was going to take you high. And I'm like, bro, like, it's no big deal. Like, it's racing. And, when you're in close like that, it happens. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do it back, but like, it's racing. And I recognize that, but if you're going out and T-boning people, then I'm going to have a problem with you. And even like with the situation, like with Hunter Sales at Indy 2, like, it took me a little while to cool down, but once I cooled down, I went over to him and I'm like, dude, I just want to let you know, like, no hard feelings, like, stuff happens. And, it was a bonehead move, but, it happens. It's racing. So, I wouldn't say that I really have any rivals. I get along with everybody pretty well. And I just kind of stay in my lane, and I would consider myself to be a likable guy. I don't ride like a jerk. So, I don't really piss too many people off.
Do you think the AMA is getting a lot stricter now on like what's aggressive and what's kind of a fair pass? Because we see Anderson, like the round before, he was kind of getting. They reviewed his two passes, which we thought wasn't really aggressive at all. So, do you think the AMA are getting a little bit too kind of strict on what's clean and what's dirty?
Honestly, I think, truthfully, everybody has their own opinion on what's dirty and what's not. For me, I've never T-boned anybody, certainly not intentionally, but if you're going and T-boning somebody, I'm sorry, man, that's just, you shouldn't do stuff like that. That's not cool. But, I'm a firm believer that, rubbing is racing. Taking somebody high in a corner, that's racing. And if you're rubbing back and forth and you just happen to connect your back tire with their front tire, and as long as you're not like looking over and you're seeing the guy and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm taking you down. That's kind of messed up. I don't know, man. I think that Anderson's moves. I mean, they were aggressive, but not to penalize the guy. I mean, that's my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. That's everybody's got their own perspective of it. But I just think I think as far as Anderson's concerned, Anderson's definitely. I mean, he wants to get the job done, man. I mean, we saw it back in when he won his championship in
18.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy's a former champion. So, he knows that he can be up front. And if he's going to have to push people out of the way, then
he will. Yeah.
100%. And I would stick behind that 100% if I've been in that situation before. I mean, it'd be like the same thing for me. Like, I'm going to move people out of the way in an LCQ to make the main event because I know that I can be there. But I don't know that I don't necessarily. I mean, it just depends. I mean, if you're looking to really hurt somebody and you can see in someone's body language that they are just looking to hurt the other person or really mess them up, intentionally, or if it's more of a matter of I meant to cut him off, but he cut down too early. That's a little different. Like I said, it's racing. That there's a lot going on, and sometimes you're, not able to take everything into consideration in those split seconds.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can all watch it in slow-mo and say, "Oh, he did that," but it happened so fast, didn't it? That sometimes it's just a racing incident.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So, have you got any more questions, Dale? Because I'm going to start wrapping up there, otherwise.
No, I pretty much covered everything.
So, obviously, Scott is a privateer. If anyone wants to check out his YouTube, I have put it along the bottom. If people want to give you help, Scott, how can they get in touch, or how do people help you if with stuff, or is there any way they can get in contact with you?
Honestly, the best way is to contact me through Instagram. My Instagram tag is Meshey441. I also work with a company called Real Home of the Hustle. Their coffee called Get Shit Done.
Yeah.
And I have a through them, Meshey441. So if you want some good coffee, they make cold brew and ground coffee. And I have an affiliate program with them that helps me out a little bit. And we're looking to help grow, along with the brand. So, that's just another way that obviously you guys get something in return for purchasing. And then obviously, it helps me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, it's, I'm obviously open to help, from, different people, and obviously if they have businesses and being able to promote and help with my connections. That's the biggest thing for me is I try to connect people because, I can't sell a roof for somebody. But, I might be able to put you in touch with, other people that I work with that, might be,
we can sell your roof. Me and Dow are both roofers.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'll be able to sell you anything.
There you go. So, see?
Just check out your Instagram and drop you a DM if anything,
Yeah.
And we had the same bet with Moran's. If you get a hole shot in the main, we'll transfer you £100.
Done.
So, if we can grow up, our aim is to grow this as a little bit bigger. Obviously, you only started in, and then we can try and help guys out like yourself. And me and Dale do want to come over maybe this year, maybe next year, to come and say hello face to face. And we talk about the AMA every week. We got 3 podcasts this week, obviously with the 3 races. So it'd be great to come and say hello to you guys in person, and maybe one day, put our logo on one of your bikes. That'd be awesome. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, man, is just helping everybody grow, and obviously anything I can do to help you guys.
Yeah. We appreciate your time today. I know you've got to now stop us, go to work.
Yeah.
Is it all on Zoom at the moment, or have you got to go to lecture?
Yeah, it's so for me, I'm an online tutor. So I've thankfully my boss works with me pretty closely, and she's very understanding of the fact that obviously with the COVID protocols and stuff that are in place for racing Supercross, that I really can't be going on campus.
Yeah.
And works pretty well. I think that I do just fine online, and the people that I help seem to.
The coolest teacher there is that races Supercross.
There you go, man. Listen, call me the professor.
Appreciate your time tonight, Scott, and we'll be cheering you on from here in the UK. And let's hope you get that whole shot, and we'll send you the money over.
Yeah, listen, man. I'm telling you, it's a possibility.
Yeah,
Moraz was close.
Yeah, he come close. So when we wish you every luck for the rest of the season, and we'll catch you. Hopefully, we'll chat again in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Let's catch up again soon and set up something like this again soon.
Cheers, Scott.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks,
bye.
man.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, he's gone. Hope everyone enjoyed that tonight. Another great insight of what goes into being a privateer. If I say we have asked before if anyone wants to get anyone on in particular. After last night or Monday night, I have talked to Steve Dixon, so hopefully he'll be coming on. Young rider Casey Cochran? He's just come out of the where have they all just been lately? Is it the Minios again?
Yeah, I think so.
He just come away from a win there, and Tyler Hamill was still in the. He's waiting for him to give us the nod of coming on. So we've got some cool people coming up. Enjoy
Get
talking
some more
to Scott.
privateers.
Yeah, try and get the privateers. We have a. I'll need to let you talk, Dal. It gets too exciting and I can't stop.
I get a bit zoomed in on when they're like, it's just mad, isn't it? Because you're like watching them every weekend. Next minute he's just there in his bedroom with his flag up and his pictures and that, just telling us everything like about his whole career and what he's doing and that. It's crazy.
Good thing with the Americans, they talk well, don't they? They can have a yak.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to make conversation with them, is it?
You watch now. I bet he rips the old shot.
I hope he does. Oh, he's back. What's he doing back? Perhaps he wants more encore. Look. You don't know where he is. Oh, he is back.
My bad, guys. Listen, I
thought he was coming in for the encore.
I exited. I exited and I was like, man, I should have stayed. I was gonna make sure I say thank you to those guys.
Yeah, no, we usually get rid of you, say thank you, and then let you hang up. But you can get off, mate. We really appreciate your time, and I'll say we were just saying how grateful we are having you on.
Oh shoot! Thanks, guys. Y'all have a
Cheers,
good
Scott. Take care, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Bye. Bye. So he's actually gone.
He'll be back.
He'll be back in a minute. Thanks everyone for joining. We are on again tomorrow night. Is everyone up for tomorrow night? Should we do tomorrow night? Are you up for it, Dan?
Yeah, I don't mind. What have we got and then they race Saturday?
Yeah. Or do you want? I don't mind if you want to miss one.
That would be us.
It's been quite busy this week, hasn't it? There's not that many people on, to be honest now.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, let me know. I'm easy.
Maybe we'll give it a miss, I think. Tomorrow night.
And then
go again Monday.
What? Of
Saturday's
Tuesday's race and Saturday's race?
Yeah, we'll just have a bit of a recap.
On both of them?
I'll have a think anyway.
All right.
I feel like I shouldn't miss one. I feel like I'll be letting someone down.
Well, no, I see what we're putting the thing, but we could do a recap. I can do tomorrow. We'll do a recap on a bit of both of them.
Just why I've got no one's. We have started a raffle now. It's going to be for £1,000 worth of stuff. It's it doesn't have to be all racing. We would like you obviously to get racing stuff, but it'd be for a shop of your choice. If you want to get a mountain bike, a road bike, something for training. We've got up to £1,000 to spend. There's a little bit of profit in it for us, but that's going to be going on like ride days and stuff like that. So I'll put it in the group anyway. It's all on the website, which is obviously another thing that we've just set up now. So we've got a website. which is www.motocrosssetups.com. Go on there, that you can find the latest podcasts, the raffle and things like that. So it's all on there. Reese has said maybe do a small recap of Tuesday's race on Saturday. After Saturday.
On Saturday.
No, we'll do it Monday. But I'll chuck it in the group anyway and see what everyone says.
Yeah.
Thanks
No worries.
everyone. Thanks. Reese is the man. He always writes in loads of stuff. We'll have to get him a t-shirt or something, Dale.
Yeah.
Hopefully try and get a few more people on soon, getting involved. But again, thanks for everyone. Have a good evening, and we'll let you know tonight or tomorrow if we're going to be coming on tomorrow. Toodaloo.